Joyce. So tell me. Okay, so you can unmute yourself now.
Yes.
Okay, so can you give me a background about yourself?
Yes. Yes. I'm going to meet her, don't worry. I'll meet her.
Hello, Joyce. I think Joyce is in another meeting. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's proceed immediately. So when we say human resource operations, what are your thoughts? What comes to your mind? When you say human resource operations and administration, what are the thoughts that comes to your mind? You can drop that in the chat room. What are the thoughts that comes to your mind when you hear human resource operation? Yes. Hello, Christy. If you
Yes,
can
good
hear
morning,
me.
Doctor. Yes,
Okay,
please. I'm
okay.
there. I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
So I want to have a background of what you do.
Okay.
Professional background.
Yeah. I have my first degree in English. I have my master's in. I have my MPA, and then I work with NAFDAC. I head Reforms Unit. Is a unit that handled complaints, anti-corruption, and of course gender issues.
Okay. Okay. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
So now we are going to be discussing human resource, and basically, I always say that we practice human resource in every aspect of our lives, from the most smallest nucleus in society, which is the family, to the largest you can think about. We practice human resource in various ways. Okay, so we're going to looking at how we practice human resource in various ways, as said, in our families and every other place. So let's start with, before we go to the case study, let's just have the objectives of this model. So our learning objective, so that by the end of this model, you'll be able to understand what human resource operations is all about, develop HR administration skills, master compliance and legal requirements, enhance data management, improve communication skills, and implement best practices in HR. So let's go with a case study. A mid-sized technology company, Tech Innovates, faced a legal dispute with a former employee named John over the term of his employment contract. John claimed that he was entitled to performance-based bonus that he did not receive. The company argued that John did not meet the performance target outlined in the contract. Situation analysis. The dispute arose when John filed a legal suit against Tech Innovate, alleging breach of contract. He claimed that the performance targets were not clearly defined, that he had met all his objectives set by his manager. The company's HR department, however, lacked the proper administration or documentation to support this case. So before we go further, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this? Let me just have your thought generally. There are no right answers, there are no wrong answers. What are your thoughts on this? What will you advise? What will you contribute to this if you come across this case somewhere and it's being discussed? You can unmute your mic. Or you can use the chat room if you wish.
I think the terms of reference, let me use that word, were not well specified. Because from the background, John claimed that he was entitled to a performance-based bonus that he did not receive. And the company argued that John did not meet the performance target outlined in the contract. So if John was aware of the target, he would not be claiming for something that he did not deserve. So I think there is a disconnect somewhere here. I don't know.
But one of the disconnect is communication, right?
Communication, yes.
One of the obvious disconnect is communication. Okay, so thank you for that. So let's proceed. Ambiguous gap. Administration gap, rather. Ambiguous contract terms. The contract did not clearly define the performance target or the criteria of the earning bonus. So there's what is called KRA, KPI. First of all, you have your JD. After your JD, you have your KPI and KRA. Let's stick with KPI. So KPI is key performance indicators.
Sorry, Doc, just a minute. Sorry that I had to cut in.
Go on.
I concern is because of what you mentioned, the JD. Who prepares the JD? Is it the office or the employee? Is it the employer or the employee that prepares the JD?
The labor law says that an employer must provide work for his employee. So when you're providing the work, you must tell the employee what to do. So the JD is being provided by the employer. It's like you want to do a job in your house and you go into the where all these laborers are and get them to your house. After they come to your compound, just lock your gate and you went inside. You've not provided what they need to do. And if they stay there for maybe 5 hours, they charge 3,000. You're going to still pay them that 3,000, regardless of whether they have done something, because you've not provided them the JD to do. So the employer provides the JD. Then the next is lack of performance review. There were no documented performance reviews or evaluations that detail John's achievements and shortcomings. So there need to be periodic performance review. Periodic performance reviews. It could be 1 month dependent, it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months. Some does annually. Well, it's better to do annually than never doing at all. But I always advise and advocate for 6 months. After 6 months, we put to evaluate, because 1 year is too long to just evaluate and to shape people. All right. So the next is inadequate communication, which that's very obvious, both in the verbal and written. There was poor communication. There were no record of emails, exchange of meetings, performance targets, and so on and so forth. Even the second point in performance review, when you finish even doing your performance review, for example, when you're terminating based on performance, you must prove that this person was appraised and did not meet the performance. Then you have to put the person what they call PIP, performance improvement plan. Okay, so it's on that basis. But that doesn't mean that if someone performed at the first instance, if you cannot terminate. You can terminate if the actions or inactions has inflicted a cost on the company. All right, thank you. So the last is missing policies and procedures. HR administration has to do a lot with policies, processes, and procedures. Policies and procedures. That is the broad differentiation. Then when you go into procedure, you now have processes. Processes are inside procedures. Policies are different from procedures. Policies are laws guiding guiding an organization or laws guiding an activity. Procedure is how to carry out that activity, while processes are smaller step by step in how to carry out the procedures. A lot of people mix it up, but they are very, very different.
Can you take that again, please?
Okay. Policies are laws, rules, and regulations guiding a particular task, guiding a particular activity. While procedures are ways which that activity or task should be carried out. While processes are step-by-step manner, smaller step-by-step manner in which the procedures should be carried out. I'll give you an example. Let's say we're talking about recruitment. Excuse me. In recruitment, we are saying that we're not going to, the policies are, excuse me, we are not going to employ anybody less than 18 years. When we are open, we are not going to employ based on tribe, all those kind of stuff. We will employ those with MBA, and so on and so forth. Those are policies. So if we now get people to employ, what is the next step? The procedure is that we put out our job adverts. That's a very wide task. You put out your job advert, from job advert to shortlist, from shortlist, you invite for interview. The ones that pass for interview, you communicate to them. The ones that didn't pass, you communicate back to them. The ones that pass, you negotiate offer and do your onboarding. Those are procedures. Now, what are processes? Processes are very smaller. So when you put out, you draft your job advert, you take it for the head HOD for approval. The HOD approves, send it back to you. Where the HOD disapproves, it starts the processes afresh again. You can see that these are smaller than procedures. So that's the typical example. Thank you. So what are the recommendations for this? Employment contracts have to be very detailed. Where I work today, the employment contract is about 12 pages. Very detailed, very, very detailed. I took my time. In fact, I could not go through it alone. I had to get my lawyer to go through it because I didn't want to miss anything. So employment contract should be very detailed. There should be regular performance review. As earlier said, communication should be documented. That's why part of the things they always say in HR is that if it is not written, it didn't. If it's not documented, it did not happen. If it is not documented, it never happened. For I don't know how it works in the public sector, but in the private sector, we are very, very crafty and clever. Someone can just come to you and have a verbal conversation with you. If you are not smart enough to follow it up with a email conversation and something goes wrong, the person will deny you. So it's very big organization like our own, very, very big organization like our own. So communications must be documented for the entire life cycle of the employee. And what's life cycle of employee? From the entry point to the exit of an employee. It has to be documented. There was a organization I worked when I was doing looking at employees' file. I found that the last document I saw there, or rather the first document I saw there, was person application letter, and the last document I saw there was the confirmation letter, yeah, appointment and confirmation letter. And these are employees that have gone out. So the leave of this staff were not there. Performance appraisal were not there. The queries and warning letters, commendation letters, promotion letters were not there. So this staff can wake up from their dreams and be like, I'm broke. Where will I get money? I worked with someone 2 years ago. When I was there, this person never gave me leave. This person never gave, and just sue the company, right? And you're going to make a case. When you're going to for business expansion isn't to go on litigation. So performance bonus policy. So not just performance bonus policy now, both performance bonus policy and every other policy should be put in place. Whistleblowing policy, starting from the most important, which is employee handbook, to employee disciplinary policy or code of conduct to maybe sexual harassment policy, maybe work from home policy, work to policy, whistleblower, I mentioned whistleblowing, and so many other policies as it's leave administration policy, promotion policy, bonuses, end of the year, and so on and so forth. So right now we could also see the employee handbook there. How could HR have prevented this? Of course, proper documentation is everything. It is said that the faintest pen is better than the sharpest memory. So as much as possible, put everything down. I always tell my HR officers in the office that, look, you must have a jotter. Every HR must have a jotter. Every HR must have a jotter. When we were having a meeting last 2 months in our office, and they were making a meeting that we had last year. I just went back to my jotter, a very big jotter. Went back to it. I said, and I will put it meeting with so person and so person. So put the date, put the time it started and time it ended, just for my own consumption. And I said, this meeting was held in so in our conference hall, and they were like, wow, I could get this back. But you see people carrying a piece of paper that you cannot trace, or notepad. I don't like that. Sticky notes rather. Guys, because at the end of the day, you don't see it. Except I just get a quick information. I take my sticky note and later transfer it back to my jotter. So that also should guide us in our HR administration, that you must have your documentation right at all times. Standardized business documents. Having a standardized benefits document, you must have a standardized benefits document clearly stated what are staff entitled to and what are they not entitled to. When I was coming to the organization, there were some things I needed. I said, I need this, I need that, I need a car, I need that. And that's okay. You know what? No problem. You get all those things. What I got on my email, what I now got was an email telling me what I was, their policies, what I was entitled and what I was not entitled to. So that's also defined my thoughts and my decision. Benefits overview during onboarding. Onboarding is a time to is very important. In fact, in my office, when they are very senior staff coming in, I have to onboard them or do the onboarding myself. Onboard them myself. Or when there are a large number of people coming out on the same day, I do the onboarding myself, because that is where you need to pass culture. That's the first way you have to create the first impression of the company. Okay, because HR are also they are sellers, they are marketers. So when I hear people say, I like marketing, I don't do marketing, in various ways you are marketing. You must market your organization in a way that it will be attractive for people to come and work. That's what is called talent attraction. Because people have moved from recruitment to attracting talent. If they ask some of us now, mention one private organization you want to work, if for those that are in government, for instance, you can just dump your government and say, leave this ministry of this and that and go and join that private organization. Why? Because they've succeeded in doing what is called working on your side to make you believe that the organization is paradise as well. Even those in private organizations, there are some organizations that when they call us, we will quickly rush and go and meet them. That, okay, no problem. You pay me, you give me a pay cut of 200, then what I'm earning, I don't worry, I'll collect it. That's talent attraction. So HR should be also at the forefront of this.
So please, what's the difference between onboarding and induction?
Induction is just one process. No, induction is in the onboarding. Onboarding starts from the process of the induction and ends at least 3 months when it starts in the system. Induction could just be one day events. You gather them, tell them the safety rules, wear your helmet, come to work on time, do this, do that, go on leave, go on that. But onboarding has to do with culture. After then, it might even take, as they go to their department, maybe you are doing peer-to-peer system, you are paying them to a particular person to keep telling them the process and the system. After that, some organization can even take them to another department, like where I work. If you're coming as a HR, we have 4 plants. You must go through the 4 plants. You can't, it takes up to 3 months to be seated very well. But the smart ones make it within 1 month anyway. So, but our process is 3 months. So induction is just an exercise in onboarding. I'll give you another example that people confuse. Performance management and appraisal. Appraisal is just an activity in performance management. Oh, my video is off. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So we've spoken about our learning objective, HR operations, HR administration skills, master compliance and legal requirements, enhance data management, improve communication skills, implement best practices. So introduction to HR operation. I must tell you the truth that most of our HR today, most of our HR, in fact, when I was basically operational, but I was the one who changed that narrative to become more strategic. Strategy is a different ballgame entirely when it comes to HR. But most HR you see today are operational. They do recruitment, they do filing, documentation, all those things. So, but not that I'm not downplaying anyone. They're all important to have their own strength in their own way. If you downplay operations, you might end up strategizing and find yourself into strategizing as well how to get out of the out of litigation, or you're batting with attrition rates or turnover and so on and so forth. So this is also very important. All right, overview of HR operations. HR operations, also known as HR ops, is an engine that keeps the HR department running. So it's like your day-to-day activity, okay, which is in the second one, which is day-to-day activities of what you do in the HR. When you listen to complaints, like whether you're in customer service, for instance, you also listen to complaint, your documentation. And that's why I say HR is related in any aspect of our life. You must write, you must, document. There was myself and my wife were having one conversation something, and she said, I promised it. I said, no, I didn't do that. She then said, she just went to our chat and brought it out, like it was even on chat. And I said, okay, please proceed. Because sometimes when I said, just send it to me on chat. Let me be able to process it. Just send it to me on chat. So you could see the importance of documentation, even at the family level. Otherwise, I would have denied her because it involved money. So everybody's avoiding ways to get it built. So, documentation is very important. Overview of HR operations. It ensures efficient handling of tasks and compliance. Okay, with operation, we're talking about how you handle various laws, labor laws, other policies, employee acts, employee pension acts, and so on and so forth. So, administration is the backbone of efficient HR. You may wish to also add administration and documentation is the backbone of HR operations. That's why I said if it is not documented, it never happened. Ensure consistency, accuracy, and compliance. You must ensure accuracy of your data. Accuracy of the data is very, very important. Someone like me, I'm very particular about data. So when you give me data, what I'm looking at is not whether it's correct, it's what I can puncture to make that data not correct. Okay, so we have to also take this seriously. HR functions and processes. So we have, these are the basics. These are the basics. We have recruitment and onboarding. So of course, so you can say end-to-end process from either attracting or whether recruiting, hiring, and bringing them. You can see the word integrating them into the system. Integrating is not lecturing them into the system. It's not inducting them to the system. That's why onboarding is a process. It's a process. It's not a one-off thing. They have talent management, developing and retaining a skilled labor force through training, performance management, career development programs, compensation and benefits. So this is just like a scope of HR employee related, resolving disputes, employee engagement activities, compliance with various laws, data management. HR data management is very important. What example of data HR manages? Yeah, let me see that. Okay, so Christine, you can just unmute your mic and tell me what
Nominal role. Nominal
Okay,
role.
Okay, yeah.
Nominal role. Document. What's it called now? Documentation, as in when you come into the office newly, in initial documentation and all that.
So we can say recruitment data.
Recruitment data, retirement, whatever data. Yes,
Exit
retirement
management.
data. Yes.
We put that under exit management because you can exit through retirement, termination, or resignation, or even death. So we're going to put that under exit data. Okay, so all right. So it's very important. So as even as HR, for you to also be effective in this documentation process, you must be very good with Excel first. I read Excel first now because even with Excel, you can type and print a memo on it. You can use it very well. So Excel first, you really need that skill. Even the institute will be going on an Excel class, a data management class very soon, which I encourage all of us to participate in this data management class. Very essential. Data management rather is very essential in HR operations. Almost everything you do is data. I no wonder a particular network said data is life, right? So, all right, so let's proceed. Role of HR operation and operational success. It increases efficiency. Okay, efficiency is increased because the process are now streamlined, resources are streamlined, and both human resources and material resources are streamlined and enhance compliances with various laws, because that's where you have payroll, what to deduct from payroll, when to remit, and so on and so forth. Improve employee experience, because those operational activities, for instance, in migration, we just completed a sport activity, and by next month we'll be doing a cultural day. All these are just operational, and employee engagement is what is falls under operations, right? They'll have strong employer brand, like I told you. There are some organizations that once you at the mention of their name, everybody wants to work with them. When they put out application, the whole world is applying for it. So data-driven decision. Then also important that it helps you. It helps you reduce litigation cases. Part of the work of an HR is that you also, that's an HR you have to be versatile. You have to be versatile. Even whether in customer service or any welcome, Mr. Emmanuel, your network can fluctuate. So you're going to tell us also what you do after this live. So we can also see how we can tune the lecture to suit you on personal needs. So even when you are a customer service, you need to look at what are the policies that your organization is bringing that is a breach of the fundamental human rights of your organization, of the customer rather, of your client. So you need to outline this. You flag it. Look, this is not a way to go. This is region data management policy. This is that. This is this. So if let's say complaint that comes, people don't have a complaint log, for instance, a complaint log, and something comes up, what are you going to fall back to? So there should be called complaint log that you can trace even up to 5 years time. And legally, I don't know how long a case can stay that you can resurrect it. I don't know, but I think for that 10 years or so, I can't remember again. So if that's the case, then companies will have to ensure that documentation is taken very seriously so that they won't fall prey to litigation cases. So types of HR administration or HR documentation, company policies and procedures. Company policies and procedures. So I've mentioned that recruitment policy, sexual harassment policy, promotion policy, performance appraisal policy, office gadgets policy, transport and housing policy, all those kind of things. Also, but they have the employee and which is very, very much robust. It has almost all those policies in it. They have the job description, very important. Job description comes side by side with KPIs. So when you have job description, you have the KPI showing that, okay, if you say timely recruitment of positions. What should be the KPI? Recruiting of position within 20 days. Reduce employee turnover rates. KPI will now tell you keep turnover rates not more than 5% based on industry standard, for instance. My industry is 5%, not more than 5%. So if more than 5% leave your position every month, there's a problem. So this is, KPI is keeping a weight to the job description, giving it numbers, giving it marks that is calculatable, it's scientific. It's scientific. Because if I say employing, filling positions, and of course you're doing recruitment every day, but I'm not seeing the people. So I am not able to weigh that when there's a vacant position, you have 20 days. So when I look at all the positions, I can say there's a position that's taking 90 days to fill. Your KPI will tell me already. Okay. Performance management documentations, the one that tells us how to go about performance issues, from setting of objectives to performance process, and what follows, maybe promotion, training, documentation, CNA, training assessment, to training materials, the employee contract and offer letters, also very, very key, very important. So we've said this in a different way. We said this also in a different way. So we say technology and HR administration. Technology and HR administration. You can't take away technology away from HR administration. I don't know which of us is in. Okay, before we proceed, let's welcome Mr. Emmanuel Afolabi. That should be, yeah, Mr. Emmanuel Afolabi. Can you please unmute your mic and give us a background about your professional background, please? Mr. Emmanuel Afolabi. Mr. Emmanuel, are you there?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So sorry, the network has been frustrating me here.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. Okay, so what am I expected to do now?
Just tell us about your professional background.
Sorry?
Your professional background.
Okay. By profession, I'm an ICT personnel. I studied mathematics and computer science from National Open University. And I've also done a couple of programs, training, and in line of ICT. And I've been in the business world for about 14 to 15 years now. I've taken my career has been, it has been challenging because oftentimes, even as I make progress in the educational line, I also tend to walk along. So I've been in various industry. I've been in ICT. I've been in the food industry as well. I've also been in the telecommunication industry. During the era of recharge card, when when the major way of recharging
was through recharge cards.
Phone was through recharge card back then. I worked with a telecommunication company, and we were the one directly in charge of the printing of those, generating those code that you load on your phone. So we're in charge of that. So I was there for a couple of years as well. And I was also in the training department. I think most of my, the major part of my career has been in the in the training, organizing, and administration. You know, even when I work with, there was this company I work with. It's an ICT company, and they had various departments. You know, the major thing, the major aspect of the operation is training people, educating people on various programming, you know, taking people, from the basic level of ICT to the intermediate and even to the advanced level of programming. So I was there for a while as well. But the striking part of my profession is, I think it took a turn, back then in 2016, 2017. That was when, I found, that was when I was faced with the major challenge of my, the major challenge of my discipline. And that was when a company was handed over to me. I had to manage this company. I had to run it. It's an ICT company, but, having various departments, and one of the major things they do is also to facilitate business, uh, business startups. They organize trainings, they they train people. They also, do a couple of advising and also supervising, small scale businesses. So, and it was a very challenging because I was not really, the part of, the part that I have to be the one making the major decisions that drive the organization, the organization forward was a major challenge for me. So I had to take it upon myself. I had to begin to take a couple of
Decisions.
decisions. I began to spend more time on the internet, learning new skills and all of that.
Okay.
So, to the glory of God, I took that, further, and I actually did extremely well because I began to train. I began to train other people who could model what I was doing. So I managed that.
So in HR, we call that succession planning or talent management.
Oh, great.
So
I
that
was
means
there
you've
for,
been practicing HR indirectly without you
that's
knowing.
right. So I was there for about 6 years. I think I started in 2014.
What's your current position now?
Our current position now,
Your,
I have my own company now.
okay, you have your own company.
Yes,
Okay,
and
so you have to take this course seriously because it's very, very important. You take this course very
so
seriously. It's
and
very
so
advisable for business owners to understand HR. Okay, because when you understand HR, you're also looking at how to manage your own talent and retain them. How to retain them is very important because you don't want to have a situation where people come today and leave tomorrow. After onboarding for 3 months, then tomorrow you're onboarding again. Next tomorrow you are recruiting again. And once people need to see your company out there, every time you're recruiting, they'll be like, this one, don't go there. Every time they're recruiting, what's chasing people out of that place? Right? So
That's
thank
right.
you so much, Mr. Emmanuel.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. So technology and HR are two processes that go hand in hand.
So
Like I
sorry,
said,
sir.
yes,
Can I ask a question?
please proceed.
Okay, I learned this is our third week of this training, and no material has been sent across to us. So I wanted to ask, since after today and tomorrow we have just a week to the end of this course, are we not supposed to have the material so we can
I'll
also?
discuss with the program director. He will get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. So if you are going into HR administration, you need to be savvy with computer. You need to understand how to use what and how to present what. For example, Excel, which you can also export into what PowerPoint and make presentation, because that is how data of the world today goes. Nobody wants to hear long stories and typing this and that. Nobody wants to hear that any longer. What we are concerned about is data-driven reports. HR information, HRIS. People have some software that is being used to manage their HR, something like SAP, AI 360, Navigation, and so on and so forth. So for those whose organizations are using it, you are privileged. Take it very seriously. As the world is moving through data, going towards data-driven stuff now. By establishing a robust HR administration can ensure a smooth workflow. Yes, can ensure a smooth work. Like remember before, a company where I worked that we don't have the resources to do a HRIS. What we were using was Google Sheets, Microsoft Sheet, and all of those. So someone can see live what you are working on. When you finish working a particular document, let's say a Google Sheet document, if you want to do requisition that time, once you finish working on that document and you click submit, it goes automatically to the next person. From there, it goes to the next person like that. So that's how it works. So we are done with our first module. And after the second module, we are going to go on a few minutes recess. Thank you. Or do we go on the recess now? You go on 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes recess now. Let's say 10 minutes. Or
10 minutes is okay.
Now, right? Or after the second module, which of them?
We can take it now, anytime. Anytime is fine by me.
Okay, so anytime is fine by you. So let's get favor. Let's know that it's now or later. It's Christine. Now or later? After.
What did you say, please?
Are we taking the 10 minutes now or after the second module?
Maybe after the second module.
Okay, so let's go with the second module now. So yeah, welcome to the second module, which is essentials of HR administration. So we said that we have various categories of documents we said before, but we're summarizing it here now. We have number one, policy and procedure documents, employee records, forms and templates, reference documents. When we say reference document, I think the other ones are very clear, but reference documents also include external documents. Okay, so we'll see that as we proceed. So policies are purely internal. Purely internal. You can see a range of policies on the system there. Safety policy, grievance, performance management, leave absence, and so on and so forth. Various kind of policies. Then we have example of procedure, which we call SOP, standard operating procedures. Okay. Remember, I told you that policies are different from procedures, and I explained that at the beginning of the class very clearly. So employee records. This is also a very key important place in when we talk about HR administration. People take it for granted, but when I'm approving recruitment in my office, for instance, I make sure that some of my staff will be like, why do I pick up to that very last thing? I'll give you a typical example. Someone's applying for a job in my organization where I finished the interview, and during the time for documentation process, the person submitted a document. And I can't forget the name. One Iramiya Jeremiah. The birth certificate is saying Iramiya Jeremiah. I can't really remember. Iramiya. That was where the contention was coming from. Another was saying, another was saying, Irimiya. Then another was saying, Iyamiri. I'm like, it was just different document. And they are saying, no, it's the same, like the same person. It's the same, the person is saying, no. No, they can't be the same. So the bank said name was a bit different again from what one is saying. Like I said, we can't employ this person. I need an affidavit to tell me that this is one person. So don't get an affidavit that says my name is so person. And still employment. I said, no, I can take that affidavit. Then the affidavit said that so name is stated on this document. You have 4 different names, one person. So I say all those things will be stated in the affidavit showing and tell me that those 4 persons are 4 persons in one person. You know, others we have 3 persons, 3. I just said that again. You know, so we had that affidavit before with employer. So we have to take cognizance of those little small details, contact details. Where does the person stay? The verifiable address. What are the emergency contacts? What is the next of kin contact? Job history. The place the persons have worked. Where are they located? What are the dates? We see CVs that they don't have dates of previous employment. So like Julius Berger is there. From there, move to Central is there. From Central, go to Ministry of Employment is there. From Ministry of Employment to Ministry of Foreign Affairs. No. We need to see the dates, the progression, the performance record, like I told you earlier. You have to see disciplinary procedures, how to see appraisal, promotion. Then you see the salary detail there in the record. So the importance about litigation, consistency, performance, dispute resolution, additionality. Somebody came one day after our last year appraisal and said that he scored, what is the score he told me he had? I think maybe a B. And that the salary is not showing that he scored a B because based on your score, that means the salary increment for the annual salary increment. I think for those that scored a B, they were getting up to 19% gross salary increment. They said score a B. I said, you can score a B. We use the bell curve method. So I know that those that scored a B was just up to 2 or 3 in your department. And you aren't one of them. He was insisting. And he was saying that so person who is even better than scored a B. Oh, wow. So I want to get the both of their part, called for the files of both of the 2 persons on base of comparison. And I started, I said, okay. On social issue, on punctuality, this is what you scored, this is what this person scored. You still want to go and compare on that, right? Is it? It was still arguing. I said, print out the attendance of the both of them, their 3 months attendance. They printed the 3 months attendance. That guy got 100% for 3. That means that for 3 months he didn't miss even one day. He had some absenteeism. And after the whole thing, so now B I get, now D I get. I think you got a D, capital D, right? So this can also help you in dispute resolution. Forms and templates, very important to have forms and templates. It makes your system unified, makes your system very tidy. You know, different kind of forms. When you want to manpower acquisition, let's start from manpower acquisition form. You want to recruit. The HOD should first fill the manpower acquisition form. The HR should populate how much the salary is based on salary scale. Get approval, and then you go ahead and the JD go ahead to then for leave, you should have leave recruitment, leave templates, all those kind of forms, performance appraisal forms, so many other kind of forms you wish to have. Even how you draft policies, your policy should have a particular template they should take. Maybe first start from policy serial number, who did this. The policy should have its own templates and documentation life cycle. So documentation life cycle management, which is administration life cycle, you know, is still same thing. So it starts from creation of file, from the creation to the storage of file, to the retrieval, retention, to how it's been disposed. Files in HR are highly classified, and there are even some staff files that are more classified. For instance, my file is not in the general file, not where the general file is. My own file is in where we call grade A files. Managers files are there and some other important documents because the HR officer should not have access to how much I'm earning, for instance, should not know how much I'm earning. They can just say, that man, they're paying 80,000. Big money, big money. It can also constitute security risk. And in this is just an aside. There are three categories of file management in the legal aspect, which is also being used in the HR aspect. There is one, need to know. One is need to know. Number two is need to act and need to hold. Need to know, need to act, and need to know. There are some documents that you just have need to know. Some you don't have need to know. But let's say the ones who have need to know might be when they send an email, they'll put you in CC. You put in copy. When they put me in copy, they're just CCing you just for you to know. Not because it's really, really relevant for you, but because of the kind of office you occupy, you need to know. Need to act means that these documents has come to you and you need to minute on it and pass across. You don't have the need to hold that document. Then the last is need to hold. It means you need to know, you need to act, and you need to hold that document. So these are just how to manage our filing system. So we'll talk about okay, so benefits of robust filing system. Number one is ensuring document integrity and accessibility. When a document is well saved, we are sure that it has not been tampered with. And that's why pagination in documents is very important. Paginate your documents. So government offices are very good at that. Structured documentations are very good at that. But if you are like Emmanuel's business, ensure that your staff, you print employee letter and give them, employment letter and give them, open a file for all of them. Ensure that they don't have access to that file. When they do something that is not in line with your policy, please do well to correct, serve a query, give them a warning letter, give them a disclosure letter, and so on and so on. Keep it in their file. Because you might not be like, that's a one-man business, it's just me, and tomorrow one employee will just take you to where you don't know. So number two, it minimizes risk associated with inaccurate and outdated data, streamline HR process and improves efficiency. Remember, by effectively managing HR documentation, the organization can ensure a compliant, effective, and fair work environment. The guy I told you about, anyway, he then sees me. The way he greets me is different. The way he greets me, oh, my HR, because he was very clear so that he wasn't shortchanged. So that the process was very, very fair. We are done with module 2. So we are in our module 3. We will just take a 10-minute break, recess now. Thank you. Do we have any questions so far? Do we have any questions so far? Okay, so maybe while you're on recess, you might have a question. We'll come to on start our module 3. You can then ask the question. We'll converge 11:11 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine, please kindly make me the host.
Hello?
Please kindly make me the host of the meeting. Do you know how to do it?
No, I don't. I think he's the
You are the current host
organizer.
you are the current host. Just if you look at the names, go to participants.
I didn't see that too. Hey. Oh, no,
Go
I'm
to
not the host.
participants.
Yes,
Hold
I'm
on.
there now.
Just go to, click on participant. You see everybody's name will be out, right?
Yes.
Then go to my name.
That's the Ikena Okafor.
Yeah, yes, click on it. Just once. Then you see make host.
Make host, make co-host or host. Now there are two things.
Host.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, good.
All right. I've done that.
Thank you. Sorry, my laptop battery just ran and I'm not in the office yet where I can access power. So I'm going to be using my phone. So let me try and see if I can share the slide from my phone. It's possible, but let me see. Possible and effective that is. So this is called contingency plan in HR. Okay. So we are in model 3. Good. Share screen. Please, I'm just trying to get that. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. So this is effective after all. Let me record. Okay, so model 3, employee record management. So employee records management, effective management of employee record is crucial to maintain accurate and comprehensive records, files. So this model covers the essentials of creating and maintaining employee file, understanding the legal requirements for employee records, and implementing best practices in record keeping. On this, I always advise organizations that have a robust HR department to have a DMX, which is data management system, and you may have a data management officer, okay, where the person will be in charge of recording and your documentation process in HR department. Like in my department, in my organization, we have that a dedicated officer. Advisably, or most advisably for that, you need people that have library information science background, office tech management, and so on and so forth. So, okay. Just trying to see where the camera is. Okay, good. Okay, so So what are the information you need to have? You need employee personal information. Employee personal information. And what are those personal information? You need employee's full name. I do advise when you are taking people's full name, take it from their national ID card, okay, from their name, national ID card, take it from there, then the address, contact details. Try to get a definite address and emergency information, okay, employment history. Then you have their job application, come with the resume, employment contract, record of previous contracts, reference form. They have the performance. This where the person is now seated. You have the performance appraisal, reviews and evaluation, disciplinary actions, all in the staff file. Where this person's salary has been increased, it should be put there. Bonuses, it should be put there. Training this staff attended should be captured. Trainings, attendance of each training should be captured. Some staff don't attend these trainings, and at the end they will be the first to flop in the system. So this is also ways that we can use. Most times during redundancy, staff file is very important. During redundancy 2020, when we had to declare force majeure due to the COVID, it was staff files we used. We used those with low performances. After low performances, we entered those with highest disciplinary issues. After that, before we now went to attendance issue. So then, oh, beautiful. Then, just hold on just hold on for a minute. All right. Sorry for the breaking transmission. So it also help you for litigation issues. Helps you for litigation issues. It's very important we take this. Very important we take this into cognizance, because if somehow you see yourself in the courts, your best defense is first the employee file, and at some other time, the employees want to travel abroad or they have traveled abroad can make requests for certain documents, certain information, or the current employer of the employee, and the law demands that you send that. It is the right of the employee to have that. So for maintaining employee file, organization should use consistent filing method. Okay, so today you are doing online, tomorrow you have left online, started in manual. So you have to be consistent in a particular manner and pattern. Then it should also be done in a very organized and systematic way. Okay, that updates, you should be updated regularly. When people have a new certification, new promotion, anything that they have new. So it is also the duty of the organization to protect the data in the employee file. It's the duty of the organization to do that. Vis-a-vis, we have the Data Management Protection Act or something like that. So you can't just divulge certain information in that manner. There are certain information you cannot divulge out, except with the consent of the employee. Sometimes we receive letters of employers trying to know the salary of the employer. Like, no, you don't need to know that. You just need to have the work history of this employee with us. That's all you need to have. accessibility. Okay, so we've said much about that. Compliance. Compliance. Okay, so talking about legal requirements. Understand the legal requirements for how long different types of employee record must be kept. There are different times. We have, I think the maximum span, is it 10 or 15 years? I can't really lay my hands on it again, but it depends on the kind of file. Even those days in the medical sector, there are a number of years. I think on the medical sector, I'm very clear that for 10 years and above, you can dispose the file. And when they even say dispose, to some extent, you can't just like burn it or no. You may wish to take it out to a more safer or a more distant location. Okay. So, but at the point where it has exceeded the stage, you can then discard. But there are documents that are grade A documents that you cannot discard as well. We're talking about confidentiality. So, compliance with labor law, accuracy, employee that have all employee records are accurate and up to date, reflecting on the true and complete information. Provide employee with the opportunity to review, correct any inaccuracies in their record. Yeah, that may be because of how when they were filling, they didn't have certain information. They should have the opportunity of, you know. So best practices in record keeping. Record should be standardized. It means there should not be double standard. Every record should have the same pattern. So if the first thing I'm seeing in Mr. A's file is the application letter, I should also see that in Mr. B's file. If the first thing I'm seeing in the employee's file is manpower request form, that should be the same thing I'm going to see in everybody's file. And an exited employee, if the last thing I'm seeing in Mr. D's file is the handover note, I should also see same in Mr. Z file. Audit and review. This should be done periodically. This should be done periodically and regularly on the employee's file. Okay. This can tell you people that have not submitted their guarantors form, people that have not submitted their passports. If they are, what you may not see when they are coming in, you might begin to see it while they are already in the system. Okay. And this is meant to improve your system. Digitalization. It's very important to have a backup of your system. In fact, what most people don't know is that after they collect all those things, they scan immediately and upload in their cloud, upload in various places where they can easily have in their drive, where they can easily have access to it in future. Okay. Like my credentials now, anywhere I am in the world, I can always access it as long as I can access my Google. Just go to my drive and I get it. So we also should also do the same thing to our documents in our offices and personal documents. Security, the access control should not be given to everybody. Not everybody should have access. Like I told you, in our office, you only have the DMS officer that can enter there. For any other person who wants to enter there, must send me a mail telling me what he or she wants to go there and do, why he or she has to be there. And when upon receiving that, I can then give an approval and the time the person needs to be there, not more than 30 minutes, and the DMS guy should ensure this is complied with. Cultural consideration. Transparency and communication. Some culture employees have a higher expectation of transparency regarding data collection and usage. Is it the same? Do we have that culture in Nigeria? Christine and Emmanuel? Do we have that culture in Nigeria? Transparency to data. Do we have that? Do we have that transparency to data in Nigeria?
This is not common though in Nigeria.
It's not common. Yeah, that's it. even some of us that wrote our MSc on particular happenings in Nigeria. In fact, not just Nigeria. I wrote on transborder, something on transborder, and it involved me interacting with certain agencies like the Nigerian Army, and so on and so forth. The support I got from ECOWAS Secretariat, that is not Nigerian based, is I didn't get quarter of it from the Nigerian Army, for instance, right? That's because of the data protection policy is not that held. It's not something that we've grown to in the country, not because naturally the army will not want to help. Yes, they want to help, but our laws are not giving them that opportunity to divulge certain data, unlike the Western world that you just go online and type those and everything is out. So clear communication about record keeping practice is crucial in building trust with employees. Data sensitivity, be mindful of the cultural differences in data sensitivity. For some of us that work in the North, understand very clearly. In fact, it's part of the challenges. If we go to challenges you experience in data, in computing data, you also see cultural practices as a challenge. There in the North, you see a lot of people that don't even know when they give birth to them. Like they are not 80 years old, they are not 50 years old, they are 20 years old and so on. I remember when I was in Kano, someone told me that his mother told him that it was the day that Rabiu Kwankwaso won his second term election, that was the day they gave birth to him, and I laughed. So all I did was go to Google and type it, and I said, okay, so you are born on so day. So those are challenges you see in data management as well. All right, thank you. So we are next on our next policy, which is model 4, which is policy and processes. We hope that by 12 we should have been done with our first class. Okay, so I have explained what policy is all about, but just a recap again. Policy are guidelines, rules, and regulations that guide us towards a tax, guide us towards a tax, right? Various tax we have. Let's say how to deal with customers. Okay, do not collect tips from customers. Do not, all those kind of policies. When customer come, greet them and stuff like that. But procedures are not telling us even how to greet the customer. When they come, if you're a man, you put your hand on your chest and you bow. If you're a woman, you genuflect and stuff like that. So that's just a broader explanation. So policies and procedures are within the organization, their internal dynamics. They provide clear expectation from both the employer and the employee in various workplaces. So there are no surprises when it comes to policy and procedures, no surprise at all. They ensure consistency, compliance, and fairness in HR practice. That's why a lot of people don't like HR. If you come to the private sector, for instance, they'll tell you, HR, no, you are very wicked. Why? Because HR goes by, the HR Bible are policies, processes, and procedures. That's the only thing we know. Okay? So the model covers development of HR policies and procedures, effective communication, and so on and so forth. Step in identifying, in developing HR policies and procedures. What are the steps? So now I'm saying step in developing HR policy and procedures. So is this what I'm about to say now? Is it a policy? Is it a policy or a procedure? That is identifying needs, gather inputs, drafting policies, approval. No, is it a procedure or a process? Identifying needs, gap inputs, drafting policies and procedures, and approval implementation. Is it a procedure or a policy or a process?
I think this is a process.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it's a procedure and of course process.
Okay. All right. So,
Because the
well,
process is the step by step, it's way of doing it.
okay. Yes. So, we are correct. It's a procedure, and in it, you now have a process. So, when you identify the need, now identifying how do you identify the need? First, maybe by questionnaire, maybe by general engagement. That is now where the pro. Okay, when you say gather input, how do you gather it? Manually, computer-wise, your staff will do it. Who does it? So I think we are going to get it clearer now. So when you want to develop policy, process, and procedure, these are the broad pattern to follow. Need identification. You need to identify the need. What has happened? I'll give you an example in my organization. Okay, this is highly confidential. I can't use example. So let me use another one. Identifying needs. It came about, something happened in my organization, and we began to probe why that happened and how that happened. So what we now discovered was that it is because there is a gap in so place. That is why this employee could capitalize on that and take this action. So we were able to identify the gap, which is identify the need. After identifying the gap, we then gathered input. We brainstorm, look at the pros and the cons, look at the legal implications, moral implications, implication of the organization, went through strategy, and so on and so forth. From there, we drafted a policy and procedures, went through rigorous testing stage, then approval. Implementation is also very important. It's a very key stage. Let's say you have to deal with change management. Because if it's a policy that have been existing, they've been doing it in a particular way, then you want to change it. You need to let them see the bigger picture, why it has to be changed. Because people are usually very skeptical about change. Very skeptical. I could remember when we are changing the location of our entrance gates. The location of our entrance gates was going to be close to some department and going to be farther for some departments. We have to make a case for it. We have to go on sensitization just to change gates. That is our own. When we were employing you, gate issue was not in the appointment letter, but because we're already in the contract together, we need to make them see reasons why that gate needs to be changed. So, implementation of policies. And that gate now affected our attendance policy because it meant that staff cannot clock in before. They used to clock in at the gates. And when they clock in at the gates, that's their clocking for the day. But now they have to trek from the gates to the department before they clock in. So that the clocking at the gate only give you access to the turnstile. When you clock in, the turnstile rotates, you can give access. Over and above that, if we had not managed it very well, it would have been a very big issue. So this is very important. So you can see now, steps to developing HR policies and procedures. These are what? Procedures. And when you go further, you will then see the processes. Assessment, conduct a thorough assessment of organization need, including legal requirements, industry standards, specific organizational goals. Break it down. Gather information gathering. Then you draft the policies. What should be there? What are components of policies? Well, one is purpose or objectives. What does this policy wish to address? What are the what was the basic thing this policy wished to address? Then you have scope. Scope of the policy. What does it? Who does this policy cater for? It caters for all national staff, or all foreign staff, or national and foreign staff, or if it's in the government, it caters for level 1 to level 7, level 3 to level 7. If they are not level 1 to level 7, then from level 7 to the mid-management level 10, 11, or thereabouts, or 12, then go on from level 14 upwards. So the policy should be definite on who these things are addressing. This policy covers for all staff working in customer service. This policy covers for all staff handling customers' computer. You are not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. Policy statement outlines specific rules and guidelines of the policy. Procedure, how this policy is going to be implemented. Responsibility, define who does what. Review and revision. And from time to time, you have to also look at these policies again. Are they in tune with the time of today? Before now, there was no work from home, there was no remote work, there's no you see some jobs that were hybrid, right? It's because of, and people are now building policies that has to do with hybrid work policy, work from home policy. Even if you're working from home, you must be on your tie, you must log in by 7 o'clock. Every 1 hour, you must check in on social sites to ensure that you are still there. Those kind of things. Go to the approval and implementation. Get necessary signatures to sign. The most senior person must give the approval. Implementation does not just come. You have to educate people on the policy. Communicate to them what the policy is all about, what changes it will bring. Part of the ways you can communicate is either pair-to-pair, in group. Identify group leaders, spokespersons, strong people in particular departments. Make them to be the ambassadors of the campaign. Okay, so effective communication strategies, employee handbook. One of the easiest way. You can have hard copy where your company is very robust to have it digital. Have digital, everyone can go on your site. Every employee can go on the employee page and view it. Maybe not be able to download it, but they can view it at least. Orientation and training programs, also a place where you can have effective communication, regular updates by sending out memos, emails, meetings, newsletters, and so on and so forth. Clear and concise language. Know the industry you are. I remember when I first moved to the blue collar industry, I went there and one of the first memo I drafted, I went there and there was this first Salah holiday or national, I think most likely Salah in Kano then. And I was like, the federal government have declared public holiday. Therefore, there will be no work, something like that. However, staff are, so when my MD saw it, he shouted, no, don't send that memo, don't send that. If I send it out, nobody will come to work because I've said that there is no work. So we have to craft in a way that, yes, the federal government have drafted, have said that there is holiday, but we're supposed to come to work and get extra money, stuff like that. We just play around it a little bit. So the industry item is kind of communication language you will use. If you're in the bank, if you can blow grammar, people will understand. But in the blue collar sector, grammar is not your mate. Nobody will answer you. So make it HR the type memo. When they type memo finish, I mean they can't carry me. So you can have that kind of behavior. Strategies for ensuring compliance of policies. Management can hold managers accountable for enforcing policies. You are a supervisor. You have no business going to hold a person with
the lady that normally receive call from customers. And why didn't you receive this call? You have no. You have no business with that lady. Don't, or that guy. No. You have no business with him. Who the person she reports to? When there's an issue like in my biometric session, I came a particular day, there were so many persons, and I came and just the person, my deputy manager went there and was blaming the girl. Yeah, me, why have you attended to these people? Why I just I said, what was that you're doing? Hey, Rose, why have you people? Why is your department holding down my staff, holding down people that want to come in for registration? Immediately I gave it to her. Immediately the line started moving. So hold people. That's why you have supervisors and managers. Hold them responsible. Don't go down. Don't jump the hierarchy. Just like you will not like it when someone jump you to go higher. So also don't jump the person lower to go much more lower. Establish disciplinary processes for addressing violation of HR policies. There should be. There is a case that I've once addressed. The person committed an offense, but the policy, when they gave the policy, then I came as an external HR consultant, and I told them, say, your policy did not say what will happen to the person. It's discretional. So at this point, you can't even say you want to administer the maximum punishment because there's no prescribed maximum punishment. So I will advise you go with the minimal punishment. So grievance procedure. Provide a clear and accessible grievance procedure. We should be able to see that your complaint redressal system is transparent. Even when they are found guilty, they can appeal within maybe 7 days. Like in options, one I drafted recently, I made it 7 days. Within 7 days, you can appeal. And they were like, no, it will be abused. I said, let it be abused. So, regular reviews and audits. Conduct regular reviews and audits of HR policies to ensure that it's in tandem of today's. Hold on, please. All right. Addressing non-compliance. So how do you address non-compliance? Number one is establish a clear procedure for addressing non-compliance. So you must have an SOP for this, a standard operating procedure. That's what SOP is. You must have an SOP for addressing this, a policy for addressing non-compliance issues. HR is actually there basically to address compliance and non-compliance issues. Ensure disciplinary measures are fair, consistent, and in line with organization policy. Support and resource. Provide support and resource to help employees understand and comply with policies from time to time. It's advised to engage employees, gather them, and inform them again on the importance of complying with certain policies. Meanwhile, I also don't believe in telling them that come to work early, don't come to work early, deduct your money. Rather, come from the aspect of come to work early. If you come to work early, you're more relaxed before you start your job. What you are doing is for greater good, stuff like that. But putting fear, some employees won't even dare you at that moment to see the extent that you can go. So there should be feedback and continuous improvement. Create a feedback mechanism, put suggestion box, make it open as well, that staff can walk up to the management or supervisor, the line manager, and give feedback on certain policies. When you're able to get to that stage, that staff have that confidence in the system, you've also solved retention, some part of your retention issues, because it also brings staff loyalty. Then use survey to periodic survey to determine staff performance, staff satisfaction, and whatsoever you want to determine. Okay, use survey. There's Google form there that can use and share around to all the staff. Then meetings, you can call a town hall meeting where everybody will come and say his or her mind without being victimized, most especially. There is a colleague of mine that was telling me that after a town hall meeting, staff spoke and spoke and spoke and spoke. When the MD wanted to speak, he wouldn't just hide it, just say, my friend, what's your biometric number again? And the whole thing got the meeting very rowdy. That was not necessary. I felt like he would have just responded to the points the person raised, rather than looking for his biometric number or the staff name if he didn't know it. So talk about continuous improvement, right? So lastly on this model, effective management of this policy ensure legal compliance, promote fairness, support overall efficiency of HR practice within the organization. Okay, so we are in model 5 now. I want to also see if we can go back to using the system. Recruitment and onboarding documentation. Recruitment and onboarding documentation. This is very, very important in the life cycle of any employee. Very important. It is if you don't get it right during recruitment, it's very an onboarding process very difficult to get when the employee have come in. Sometimes some people will come in, they're not coming with complete document out. They'll be like, I'll provide that. No. You can't provide it now that it's not their job. I know you never provided for me. The next time that they're able to write for you is when you step down their salary. Because staff hates hearing that. I'll step down your salary, or I have stepped down your salary. Or anything at that point in time to be provided. But however, never you try to get to that route. Never you try to get to that extent. Use your onboarding to get all the documents you need. All the proper documentation you need to do. It's safer, it's better, it makes your process stronger. I could remember a staff we employed some time ago, not where I am, so like 5 years ago, where I worked 5-6 years ago. And this staff came in after 1 month. We're asking for guarantors form. Say, you provide the guarantors traveled, this, that. Somehow, we dropped the ball somewhere and this staff resumed. After 1 month, the day he collected the salary, that was the day he left. And we found out that this staff didn't even resign from previous of work. He only took leave and joined us. So, but we dropped the ball. If we had followed the recruitment process how it ought to be, we wouldn't have been in that kind of predicament. He didn't even resign, he just like not showed up at work and told us that he's no longer interested, he's still with his previous place. No, people like us who went further to check that maybe they called him back, they never called him back because he never left in the first place. He just went on leave. So, okay. Recruitment and onboarding are critical stages in the employee life cycle that requires thorough documentation to ensure a smooth and effective employee experience. So this module covers the documentation needed for recruitment process, onboarding checklists and forms, and the maintenance of candidates' record. Okay. So, what is that is needed? Documentation for recruitment process, job description. So we need a detailed job description that provide what? Job roles, responsibility, and requirements. You need that. That is the document you're going to use it and put in maybe your manpower acquisition form to get what? Approval for that particular vacancy to be filled. So when you are able to do that, okay, I think I'm up now. Just hold on. When you're able to do that, you good. Okay, so my second device is up.
Recording in progress.
Okay.